You can absolutely hop in and say, you know what, I want to go to my son's Algebra 1 teacher, or I want to go to school ABC, or my kids in the chess club or in the football. You can drill in too, but everything's going to be in your feed based on what you're associated with. Yeah.
So pardon me for if this has already been addressed, and I don't, but we used to have an app, a 209 app, up until the pandemic during the Rodriguez years. What would be the benefits of this versus having the app and trying to even just upgrade the app? Because the only issue with the app is that it doesn't work on iOS 12, 13, 14, so.
It's been a little bit since I used the app. I know I downloaded it back in the day.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was just like a website. I honestly forget. I know one of the other areas, so I'm gonna kind of like answer your question a different route. Like I think one of our growth areas too is just around our calendar district-wide.
Right.
So we've got every day there are things going on.
Right.
And that's part of, I think, one of the difficulties too, is knowing what's going on and where, and having like the calendar aspect. And even if that's leveraged through Blackboard or Microsoft, and we go that route, but having the calendar kind of in an easy way to view and turn on or turn off things, I see that as one of those. But the app piece, I don't know. It's been so long since I used that.
I was only doing it for playing devil's advocate. I used Remind, and I just am setting up a Remind now for the freshman connection for the students so that we can be in touch with them, because our kids don't have email or ID numbers yet. So if there's a way that we can get some kind of communication out to them, like meet at the social justice room, or meet here, or meet there, don't forget your permission slips, where I feel like I can at least have some way of communicating with them. But I used Remind galore at that point, so that was the thing.
Love this. We acquired Remind.
Yeah, I saw that today when I was setting it up.
Yeah, so all that functionality we're moving over. There's just one last chunk that they're doing right before back to school. Did any of you use Remind before as parents? Yeah, okay, good.
How similar is this to Class Dojo? Because when she brought up having multiple kids in the building, I had 3 kids at WDLA at one point, and they used Class Dojo, and it was incredibly overwhelming. Because it was, and then they had multiple teachers, and it was just like, it was almost too much. So how would that look here? Like, or does it have a functionality to kind of filter the kids? Because if it's as busy as Class Dojo,
Can I just speak to that one though? Class Dojo is really more of a classroom management app. So it alerts you every time your kid gets a red. It alerts you every time. My son was on it, and I basically, anytime any of my friends had it, I said, do not look at that thing, because they're only in like 2nd, 3rd grade, they're gonna make mistakes. Do not, just check it once a week.
No, my kid's school used like the full-on Class Dojo.
Where we got
it was newsletters, emails, updates, messages directly from the teacher. Like it was
that is
a whole lot of this.
That's
and that's why it became too much. And then I'm trying to find one kid's teacher. I got to through this.
Yeah, no.
It just became a lot because that was their main.
That's why it's going to be really critical for here. Now remember, for the sandbox, you're just going to have me as your teacher, right? You're not going to see a bunch. But in the real world, you'd be able to drill in right to whichever teacher and whichever group. You also would have your children here.
Because if you click, so if I have 2 kids on the left scroll bar, right? If I just click on Patrick, I only see Patrick's stuff.
Actually, you'd see all of his classes, and then you could click into one of them.
But I wouldn't see Susie's stuff. I would only see Patrick's stuff. So you can still like drill down by kid.
Right. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. And remember that digest at 6 o'clock. I think that's a big deal.
Okay.
If your kids are at 2 different schools, you're going to get 2 different digests. Just to get to.
using all different things. Are you gonna consolidate? Because like when she brought up Class Dojo, when my daughter was at West, one of the teachers used Class Dojo. That was a few years ago, but she did. I'm like, they're using so many different communications from the different teachers.
I think that would be part of the implementation process and something we work closely with the teachers union to kind of say, hey, this is kind of an expectation, but to have that conversation. Is this something that, again, we don't want to overburden anyone, but we also want to streamline things, like, because we mentioned before, we have Schoology. There are also avenues with Schoology. We have email. Like, if we're going to use this, we all have to agree on the usage and the expectations around that usage.
And there's teachers that don't use Schoology at all. They either don't post things in Schoology,
But
or
we'll
they're
have
using Google
metrics
Classroom.
now with this too, that we can see on the admin side, right? That we could see like there's
I'm
20
not
teachers that haven't.
and I'm not throwing anybody under the bus. I'm just
Yeah.
mentioning what is there. But if you need I would pilot it if you need anybody to do it.
That's why I'm busy all day long. Districts call all day long and say, we're completely overwhelming our teachers with the number of tools we're asking to use. We're completely overwhelming our parents. Our tech staff has to support all of these, right? And they're stressed. But then the budget issue. You can't afford to have some things that all do the same thing.
Right.
So that, you hit the nail on the head. That's what all day long I hear, all day long.
And having everybody do their thing, I think makes a lot more sense than
All these different.
everybody doing their own thing, right? And then changing it up again after again.
In the clubs, don't reach out to the parents. For me, my son was in 3 different clubs. I've never heard anything from any of the people who were over the clubs. They would talk directly to the students.
And now
Well, I mean, and some of that is like accountability for students too, right? Like we have to give them accountability for taking on.
But clubs can
Some
also.
Well, when they have fundraisers and things like that, I would think that we need to know something. I mean,
Right.
what's going on in these clubs? I mean,
And I think there's room for improvement on all avenues of communication, right? Like, we're not at a place where we can just like settle, right? Like, it's time to really push the communication and make sure that everybody is getting something, able to send it out.
Now, I'm not going to, again, I'm going to give you a fake child, right? Hey, you have a new kid, a cheap kid, you don't have to spend money on him. But think about, a lot of times clubs and coaches, and I'm not saying here, in other districts, they're using maybe their personal cell phones to tell, hey kids, we're running late, or practice is delayed, and you just don't want to put a coach in that position where they're using their personal cell phone to communicate with kids, right? So this is protecting them, because they can use their personal cell phone, but they're using Parent Square on their personal cell phone. But also for your kids, right? They're not, they're getting communication that's documented through Parent Square, that there's a record of it. It's not a personal cell phone conversation.
Can you still, like with Remind, I was able to write the message and then I was able to send it out at like 3:15 or 3:30. Can we still program it like
Your
that?
post you can schedule, but your direct messages, they go immediately.
Yeah, no problem.
But yeah, I previously, remember you saw my whole schedule I'd already set up for things to send you guys? Yeah, precisely. And you can see who received it and who viewed it. Because you guys were on the board, you're here, you're not the one that calls the district and says, I didn't get it, but there's some parents that will call and the district can say, well, actually you did receive it and you even viewed it.
And is there an SMS option too?
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah, text, email, voice, app.
Making sure.
On this pilot, I'm not gonna send you voice calls. Is that acceptable?
Yes.
Okay, they're annoying, right? Nobody picks up their phone, so,
We have Ring Central for that now.
So we just go in and sign in, because I just went on it now.
Oh,
So you
yeah.
just go
Actually, I need to put you in our system, so,
just in registration. Okay.
and then I'll hit invite, and you guys will get a text and an email and say, join Parent Square. If you do that, you're just gonna get emails and texts. But if you download the app and use that same email as your username and password and create, or as your username and then create your own password, then you can play on the app too.
Nice.
I like an app, but not everybody does. So I will just need your first name, your last name, your email, and if you give me your cell phone number, you'll get the texts. And then the minute you guys say the pilot's over, I go in and I delete you all. You're out. Okay.
But when you come back in, this picks up through the district.
Yeah, and you would come in under then the district heading, not this fake school that I have created for you.
And so the kids would be downloading then Student Square.
Right, and we're not doing part of that. I can't do kids with the FERPA and SOPA, but like data privacy, I can't add kids.
I'm just checking that out, and then what's the way that you can hold kids accountable to download that app? Because when I had Remind, I had kids that would download the Remind app and then they would delete it because there was no more space on their phone all of a sudden because they've got zillions of pictures.
Yeah, so in that case, you might ask them, hey, why don't you just share then your cell phone number and you're gonna get things via text.
Yeah.
So, or email. Does the district provide email for students?
Yes.
Yeah, so then automatically they're gonna get an email. So if they don't wanna download the app, okay, you're gonna interact in email and SMS. Good question. And if anybody wants, I mean, I can put you in as a different speaker, Spanish, Arabic, whatever, but you can always go in and change it too if you wanna, oh, she left. But if you wanna preview the translations, like, oh, I wanna see it in English and Spanish, you can change your notifications too.
Right, parents can set up a preferred language.
But I can add you now and then send you the invite so you're like, oh, okay, I got it, I'm good. Or we can think of a way of who wants to be involved.
Yeah, we know that we are going to be sending out just a very simple form, like just send something, if this is the pilot, this is what we're trying to do, give me your name, email, phone number, again, both optional, whether you want email or phone or both. We'll kind of send that out and kind of spread that out. But yeah, if you want to do something now, we have this time. If you wanted to provide the information that way.
When I add you down here at the bottom, this is an example of the text. You're going to see a join Parent Square Sandbox. I think yours is going to say the district name. I can't remember what I named it, but you'll get it, and then you can register right here. Okay, so you're going to get that text if you give me your cell phone. If you give me your email, you're going to get an email that looks just like this. So when you click on it, you register. You're going to verify that, yeah, this is my email, this is my cell phone number, we're good to go. And then I'll have a list and I'll start sending you messages. Okay.
And that's all I have for. So thank you all for coming. So if you want to play on the sandbox now, she
play in
can
the sandbox.
get you in. And otherwise, look for an email coming from the district that'll kind of ask you to join our pilot sandbox as well. And then there'll be a survey coming out at some point. But if you wanted to play around today, please join us. And we'll probably have that open for at least a couple of weeks to practice, and so no rush. Like, you don't have to go, this isn't homework for tonight, but
And the person you're interacting is me. So like when you get direct messages or you comment on things, I'll comment back. But it's me. I didn't want you to be like, who is it? It's me. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna
Maybe remove it from the screen.
I'm gonna remove it, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Is that, are you guys done with questions? Because I didn't want to show her.
Right.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah? We're good? Okay. Then I'm gonna,
If I sign up with Microsoft on the app, will that do the same thing or no?
what?
If I sign up on the app with my
I should need to enter you into the system though to show that you're,
Okay.
so let's do you as our guinea pig. You guys are gonna see
for being the first guinea pig.
You're gonna
how
see
this
how
works.
incredibly slow I am at typing though.
I have teacher expectation question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want that later and put that in there.
Can I ask a question? How much is the Carrot Square
How much is it?
costing the district?
Question. Do we have a roundabout quote for
Yeah.
a district of our size?
It depends on
It's by
kind of
student, right?
which features, yeah, and it's anywhere between $4.50 and $5.20 per student. Just kind of which features you include.
To give you an idea, our district is about 4,500 students, so
Is that like a one-time fee or is it a monthly?
It's yearly. It's a yearly per student fee.
Per student,
Yeah.
$4.50.
Yeah.
yeah, so we're looking
Per
at,
year.
if it's on the high end, you said $5 per student, we're looking at, $22,000 for the district.
How much do they pick all the others?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's something, yeah, we could absolutely, I think, look at once, I'm imagining, a future meeting, once we kind of run the course of the pilot, gathered information and survey data. I think part of that informed decision is gonna be, look, we're paying, for, if we are gonna eliminate anything, these are the costs, this is the cost of this. That all of this is gonna be discussion. We don't wanna rush into anything or make some overarching decision without your input on this, because again, this is extremely important.
And I think Miss Lee, who, I can't remember her district title, apologies, but she's already put together like a chart for me, because I asked her like, how much do we pay for everything and how much, right, like, we had to do a cost benefit analysis too, so I think that's already.
Good, yeah, you're absolutely right. So yeah, Miss Lee is our technology integrationist.
Sorry.
So that's her role in the district. So her main purpose is to kind of support that bridge between the teachers and the instruction side and the technology side, because again, all of the things. But that's kind of her role in our district, is to kind of help bridge that gap. And the last time that we had a parent engagement meeting, she did present some of that. I forgot.
Thank you all for coming and listening and hopefully trying.
Yeah, and I'll hang out here, so just let me know.
Yeah.
If you're free, if you want to.
I'll give you my information before I leave too.
Yeah, same. What's your question, Sarah?
I guess it's, of course, contractual issue. Like, contractually,
yeah.
it's powerful.
Well, and the expectation of how often communication is even.
I'll give you this.
Right.
It's very, very
Did it come
loose.
through?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic.
So that's what I'm saying, like,
Okay.
as a teacher, the feature that I thought that stood out was the translation.
It says-
Pushing out an email
Yes.
merge, and I like that. But outside of that,
Yes.
because
Just
it's a high
keep
school, and I
knowing.
don't know if I'm wrong as a teacher, but because it's a high school, most of my communication is direct with them. Like with Blackboard and,
Okay.
this is just like, it seems more like an admin tool of communication, how we're gonna put out the newsletters. But as a teacher, I'm just like, school, teams, if we're remote,
Okay, yeah. Don't merge, and then you verified your information?
and power school.
Okay,
So it's
awesome. And then I'm not gonna send stuff probably till tomorrow or
I
the
can
next day.
see.
Okay, okay, good, okay. And just remember it's a slip off.
Right, right,
right.
But
Okay.
I could see
Okay,
something,
perfect.
an expectation would be something, if you are gonna send.
Are you guys gonna be brave?
Oh, yeah, I'm ready for
Oh,
it.
yeah, let's go. I'm gonna break
As
it.
long as, we're
Okay, whichever
maintaining
side.
within those guidelines within the CBA, obviously, but, trying to, if we are gonna be sending communications out, let's use this platform. Like, we want everyone
And the cell is gonna be,
funnel it through.
the cell is going to be, that it provides direct translation. I feel like that's what we'll get more interested
Because
in.
I can see
And there's
potential,
outside
and there's
that,
ways
they're
for the
gonna like-
teachers to have quiet times too, so like, you don't want the parents having access to direct messages all day, right? So the teacher can set like,
It's teach kids for me.
yeah,
Or kids, right. But you can have those do not disturb signs, so you won't have that.
Just going to ask.
Okay, so
Now any direct messaging to my son.
Walker Professional
Kids would,
Education.
when kids learned that they could do that, they were just sending me turning this one off. So I would just turn that off.
Thank
and
you.
just say,
Thank you.
if you have any questions, please email me at blah, 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 or, you know.
Give me a big kid.
Blah, blah, blah. Because that's where the parent, because if I was gonna be direct messaging with parents, I guess I'd rather, if we have a Ring Central feature for that, that's where I would want to have.
I like the and the Ring Central is nice.
I don't even use it, and I feel like I need to. I don't use it. Well, I will hit *67 and just call the number from my phone because I just get look. This is what we do.
I use it.
Like the other thing I think about is
I
just
had that for a second, but you needed that. I was like, I don't want to do it.
right. There's another increasing communication disorders. I mean that's
Oh,
one of
and
my.
yours, I know that one. That's easy.
Okay.
What's your email?
Growing.
And the other thing too is a lot of parents don't know how to access Power School. And then so when they don't have access to Power School, they're not getting that alert about their kid not being in class. Whereas when you know which kid has it, the parent has it because of the fact that
Oh, they
they're in
come
class,
find
the kid will go, hey, Miss Ellen, you marked me absent. Oh, gosh, you're retarded. Whoops.
Yeah, because I used to be like, better, where are you?
Yeah.
I just heard you.
Yay, okay, thank you
Very
guys.
interesting
Remember
to
to
see
me, so
how
ask any
Power School
questions
engagement
or
is going to
any
change
concerns.
moving down the registration.
Thank you
Got
so
the
much.
parent
Thank
count,
you.
And you got your information.
Oh, I knew you would.
I
I knew you would.
that will
Okay, what's your
increase,
first name?
usage.
What's your last name?
Young, Y-O-U-T.
That was easy. What's your email address for the parents that get into Power School in English and Spanish and post them on the website like we had during the pandemic? Because that was something that I thought was for sure very helpful.
Do you want to give me your cell phone number?
Yeah.
That's a good suggestion.
815.
You know, Lindsay made beautiful videos
Oh.
about it. It's phenomenal. I know, I miss Lindsay.
47.
Okay.
89.
It's an 8th grader. You're getting cameras lit up.
Yeah.
Donna.young19@icloud.com. 785-674-4743.
Good, how are you?
Ah, just sent it. I love it. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. How are you? What's your first name?
I go in there and start breaking things.
I know, right? Like how
I'm
much
like-
Kennedy.
I'm like, let me see.
I touched it.
Many messages, can I send this link?
Well, now you want to hear something really crazy, all right, is Robbie's teacher who's taking them to Greece, who's in Greece with them right now, gave her personal cell phone to the parents and gives the kids her personal cell phone. And I'm sitting there going, are you nuts? She goes, she hasn't had any.
But
She's
you
not
wouldn't
living
be
another
out
country.
there.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Right.
get your actual.
Give me all of that. Run it all. Run it all.
I'm not going through this if you got my kid in Greece, sorry.
Yeah. No. In that case, I'm like,
That's a different scenario.
Oh, it is, but I
Yeah.
mean, still, I would still, like, you can, okay, I would be giving it visible voice, because that was still reaching my phone.
I was in China bringing in.
I went to France during first grade with Miss Sword. She would take me there. It was never district affiliated. The district always had issues with it. And she would just take over students on the other schools and then go to France and always another country. And she literally, like the last day in Paris, she was like, okay, you guys are about to take the metro, explore the city. And we did.
Yeah.
And it was
And you
beautiful.
survived.
And
And now you're like this.
it was, but I mean, thinking about that now, it's like terrifying. Like I get scared going down the like walking by the lakefront with my kids. Like, wait a minute, like, this is a stretch. You don't know how much I'm giving you on the lakefront. You know, it's scary.
I do give teacher credit, she is very well supervised. There's been a lot of traveling and stuff, and yesterday he got to make, my citizen honorary, so.
Oh, that's so cool.
I know, so, you know, I'm sitting here thinking she's inspiring me, like, even though, so I'll be in social studies now, so I'm sitting here, I'm gonna start like, all right.
Hi.
You know what?
Hello.
You should come with me. I'm going to do, I heard TMSA does it every other year. I would like
Yeah, I think so. I think
to.
we're good.
Okay. And Roxy, what's your last name? I mean, your email.
So expensive.
Well, and the one, right, and the one thing what I would do is, she set it up 18 months in advance. So our payments were like only $300 as opposed to what the, I think when they set it up here, it's like coming up to $500 or $600 for the parents.
Right.